Something happened here. How come that disappeared? Oh, shit. Well, that vanished. Oh, well. I'll have to fix it tomorrow. How did I manage to screw that up? All your fault. That's why I screwed it up. See, it's missing. I'll have to fix it tomorrow. Your fault. Okay. Dummy. It's that time. Stop. From the WDWL TV multiplex, live from Grumpy's staff office, with great anticipation, we bring you the pride of this station. The grumpy old man, me, and the grumpy disco vulture. Take your bow. You're a little cockeyed there, but it'll work. Oh, how come you're not? We want the banner to be seen, not the shit. Just for that, you wear it another week. Oh. Back in your corner. Look at the camera. Well, look who's here already. How you doing, Kathy? I had a shitty day today. And there goes the goddamn tablet. Oh. It's going to start playing. It's sitting here flashing on and off, on and off, on and off, changing screens. Then it goes to play the intro again. Today is just the start of a war with the medical system. And I do mean war. They are literally fucking with the wrong person. They really are. This bullshit has been going on since 2018. And I'll tell you what, I give my doctor a lot of credit because he is standing up to the Board of Pain Management. And I told him, I said, don't get yourself in trouble over me. You know. I'd hate to see him get ousted. I couldn't believe when he told me today it's been 11 years that him and I, probably the longest I've seen any doctor. Matter of fact, I told him, I said, I remember back 11 years ago when I was buying his daughter Christmas presents. And he tells me, he said, well, in another couple of weeks, she's going to start driving. I was like, oh, I feel sorry for you. Wyatt's here. Back in 2018, I think I screwed up. I think the Hippocratic Oath is doctor do no harm, not cause no pain, but either way. Back in 2018, this shit started with the board, the pain management board. Of course, they got the federal regulators stepping on their necks, so I can't fault them too much, but we'll go back to '04. Seems like yesterday. Oh, no. When I got formally diagnosed with degenerative nerve disease in my spine. And basically, what that is slowly the nerve gets the sheath or the covering of the nerve gets eaten away. And then it exposes the nerve. So it would be like peeling the plastic off the wires of an extension cord, So over the years, if that isn't bad enough, then I've got, on top of it, degenerative disc disease. So, we're ripping the lining off the nerves and then we're compressing the goddamn vertebrae. And so, in 2018, the board of pain management told all the pain management doctors, cut every patient's medication by 50%. The federal government says we're over-medicating. So my doctor said, no. Certain patients, there were 5 of us. He said, we ain't touching these guys. Well, every couple of years, they go in on their magic computer and they go, oh, look at Grumpy still got the same medication. So they call my doctor in and go, okay, hey. And, I mean, you talk about somebody that every time he goes before this group of big bosses, he throws himself on a sword. So he literally tells them, hey, we're not messing with him. Now, mind you, since then, I am maxed. Matter of fact, I am the highest dosage out of all the patients. They can't go no higher. Between the 2 drugs, I'm. So the order comes down. 30 days. Cut medication by 50%. So he's like, oh, okay. So he tells me today, he goes, don't worry yet. So he wrote my normal medication for the next 60 days. I told him, I said, right now, I am to the point where I'm building up an immunity. And what you're prescribing isn't totally working 100% anymore. And then they want to cut it by 50%. Cutting it 50% would take me back to like what I was taking in 2010, we'll say. Anyone that knows me can't understand how I can put on a happy face. Because right now, the pain is excruciating. That's how I'm becoming immune to it. And then for these doctors, just to go, you're a number on a chart. That's it. So, you don't screw with me. Because, like I told my doctor, I said, how can they make a decision just by looking at numbers? And I even says to him, I says, isn't it part of the Hippocratic Oath? You know, I said, cause no pain. I think it's do no harm. Either way. So I told him, I want to meet with the head of pain management. And he kind of looked at me, and I said, when I say something, you know I mean it. I want to meet with this guy that's calling the shots. Because you can't just across the board eliminate someone's medication without sitting down and, first of all, talking to him, and second of all, examining him. And what they don't realize is I am one hell of a record keeper. I have every single medical piece of information of anything that was done to me when I was with the other hospital. I was with the Cleveland Clinic. Every time I would have a test, I wanted a copy. Whether it be an MRI or a CT or an X-ray, I have a file that's about this thick with everything. MRI, CTs, X-rays. I've had EKGs, EEGs, you name it. Whatever test I had, I got a record. When they were doing these nerve blocks, every time I got one, I got a record. And I had showed these to my current doctor. And he looked at it and went, holy fuck, the cocktail they were mixing up. And I said, yeah, and it didn't do shit. So he called me a couple hours ago. The appointment is set up. And he's going in with me. And I told him, I said, you want to sit in front of your boss with me? He goes, yeah. Because like I say, I know the government is looking at all these federally regulated drugs. And the government is saying, well, you're over-medicating him. How the hell do you know? Have you examined me, federal government? Mr. FDA, have you bothered to talk to me? And then, an alternate, which I turned both of them down. He said, first of all, which I really love that, we would have to put you in the hospital and wean you off your medication, which sounds like fun. And then they're talking about either doing an implant with a morphine pump or an electronic stim unit, which would be wired to my spine, and I would get a key fob Oh, not. You ain't doing no surgeries. Nope, 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 nope. I've been through too many, not to mention there's always a serious risk of infection. And since chemo, my white count is in the sewer. So we ain't doing no surgeries. And I already know somebody that had one of these stim units wired to their spine. And she told me it don't work for shit. Oh, big deal. You get a key fob. You can adjust it up or down. No. Leave well enough alone. But doctors don't give a shit. This board that's sitting in their ivory tower at the new hospital building that they built, they're looking at a computer going, him, like a dartboard. Although this is what our medical system has turned into. Money-grabbing assholes that could care less about the quality of life a patient has. The FDA said, cut this guy's medication. And the hospital goes, oh, yes, FDA. They're in for a fight. The head of pain management is not going to, he won't be happy to see me. Not at all. Like I told my doctor, I said, before they make these decisions, I wish medicine was advanced enough where we could trade bodies for a month and let him live in this body and see the shit I go through daily. I knew this was coming. We talked about it a little while ago. And then he said, well, the hammer dropped. I said, well, maybe the hammer dropped, but and I talked to some of my friends that are veterans, and they said dealing with the VA is really a pain in the ass. Now, maybe it's the VA here. Maybe other veterans elsewhere in the nation are getting good care. I know my friends here say they're not getting the care they feel they should get. I'll tell you what, my doctor was actually afraid to broach this conversation today. Because instead of his nurse coming out in the waiting room and getting me, he did. And I says to him, oh, something's going on here. He sat down and shut the door and he went, well, we need to have a talk. I says, I knew it. And then he told me, he said, last week I was down at the Maine in the Ivory Tower in Mahogany Row with the Board of Pain Management. And he said it wasn't a pleasant 2 hours. I said, I can imagine. And then when I told him, I said, well, I want to go before the board. He went, what? I said, Doc, you know me. Don't fuck with me. So he set it up. We're going to have a little chit-chat. a grumpy chat. You know, it does not pay to get sick. Because when you get sick, you're at the mercy of the system. And first of all, what's the first question they ask you when you, like today? You know, I go in, can we have your insurance card? Not, how are you doing today? How's the weather outside? Can we have your insurance card? No. And that's all they're interested in. And then I get copies of all the billing and what they charge for an office visit. Holy yutchafuck. The bill, you know, you have hospital charge, medical charge, doctor charge. I'm looking at going, God, my doctor ain't getting shit out of this bill. And then every month my medication goes up and up and up and up. And unfortunately, on the one medication, they can't write it for a generic. And you know the difference between a branded medication and a generic. Yahoo! How are your dealings, Wyatt? You get treated pretty good? You get your medical problems handled the way you feel they should be handled? Have you seen them commercials, Kathy, for Big Pharma? With the guy that's got the stack of $100 bills and he's sitting there in his suit thumbing through them. I never really pay too much attention. It's something that I don't know if it's a vote regarding Big Pharma or what. They just say, oh, you know, Big Pharma is screwing us over, which they've been doing for years. See, it might have to do with location, maybe. I don't know. My friends tell me their treatment here sucks. But see, I don't understand VA. I'm not a veteran. And I don't understand the system. My friends refer to it as a welfare system, what they refer to it as. You get treated like a welfare patient. And one of them, he's got PTSD, and I don't know what they're doing with medication. They just cannot get him straightened out. And see, right now, they don't believe in medical marijuana here either. And he feels that would help him. Because he's talked to vets across the country that actually are allowed to use it. But see, Ohio, no. The hospital are like, nope. I've never tried it. But I've heard A lot of people have good results. I would be willing, I'd be a guinea pig if they went on a trial at the hospital. I'd be the first one to raise my hand. Me. Well, I'll tell you what. I've got some excellent doctors. I can't complain about the doctors. But, you know, like with my pain management doctor, they have to report to somebody. And that's where the problem is. Because when these doctors get in these positions, I think they forget their doctors. I really do. I think this head of pain management that I'm going to meet with has forgotten he's a doctor. Because that's the attitude I get. And see, Wyatt, that's one thing I can attest to. None of my doctors look at their watch. You know, you got these. Well, if I've got 20 questions, I get to ask them and I get answers. None of the doctors I have rush through anything. And the thing that pisses me off is technically, and my doctor told me this, and they're supposed to see a patient every 12 minutes. By the time the doctor walks in and reads the chart, 6 minutes are gone already. How can you address a patient in 12 minutes? None of my doctors are clock watchers. And I know there's been times I've been in there a good half hour. I feel sorry for the person waiting behind me. They're like, oh, Jesus Christ, when's the doctor going to come in? But, it comes down from the upper level. And he told me it used to be 20. And that went to 15. And now they're down to 12. There is no way on God's green earth you can address a patient's situation in 12 minutes. Now, I've been with this guy 11 years. He can address mine as soon as he walks in the door. Oh, shit, it's you again. No. But it's this. The more patients you see, the more money the hospital makes. It's not like the days when I was growing up, when doctors made house calls. I still remember. Well, I remember because of that goddamn needle, but I remember when the doctor'd pull up in front of the house, get out with his bag. He drove a pink DeSoto. You could see him coming a mile away. A flamingo pink with a white top. DeSoto. And that's all he ever drove, was DeSoto. Then when they did away with DeSoto, I think he went to... I don't think he went to Dodge. I think he went to Plymouth. But yeah, he had a flamingo pink and white DeSoto. But I can remember being in his office. We were like in the office an hour. Of course, it was in his office. It wasn't in the hospital. So Yeah, he could schedule his own appointments. And then another thing I bitched about today, I said, they had this, they call it My Chart. You go in, all your medical records. Well, they send you an email. Please do the e-check-in. They must have sent me 10 of them for today's appointment because I ignored the fuck out of them. And I said, when I do the e-check-in, technically you're checked in. You should be able to walk in the office and they say, okay, have a seat. We'll tell the doctor you're here. No. You have to go to the counter and do all the bullshit that you did online. I don't do it anymore. E-check-in is check in. You walk to the counter and say, I'm the grumpy old man. Okay, have a seat. We'll tell doctor you're here. And then they get sent 10 of them. I delete. Why should I waste my time if I gotta do it again? And then in some of the offices they have a kiosk. I ain't doing no kiosk. I'm not at Wendy's. I'll never forget the first time I walked in Wendy's. I didn't know they had a kiosk. I walked right past the machine, walked up to the counter, and the girl said, what's your order number? What? Well, what's your order number? What order number? I didn't order yet. What? I said, screw that. I admit, you take my order here. I ain't doing it. They're not paying me to do my own order at the door. And they give you this look like, oh, gee, I have to do work. If I'm going to do my own order at the door, then give me my meal for free. That'll be my payment for doing your job. I didn't know there was... They remodeled the Wendy's, and it was the first time I was in it after they remodeled it. I walked right past the fucking thing. I thought it was for some video game. What's your order number, sir? Order number? I didn't order. Well, right there by the door. I said, oh, is that what that was? Are you going to take my order? Because I'm not using that machine. I'm here at the counter now. That was the first and last time I was in the Wendy's. Although they've got a new shake that I want to try. A mint shake, I think they said it was. Chocolate mint, vanilla mint. Yeah, Kathy, those are the days of real doctors. And then they got I call it a doc in the box. The med center, the emergent care, or whatever the hell they are. I call it a doc in the box. I'll never forget the day I pissed the doctor off. I said, how's it feel to be a doc in the box? And he went, what? Yeah, it was the first and last time I was in one of them places, too. I didn't feel like driving to the hospital, so I went to the doc in the box. And those places are fucking worthless too. They can't do shit. I need to get a new mat for under my chair. I got one of them plastic things over the carpeting, and it's got wheel marks in it. Every time I go to adjust the chair, it's whoop. I'm in the rut. Although I'll tell you what, since I bought this chair, I can actually sit here longer. It is very comfortable on my back. It really is. Although every now and then the goddamn lumbar thing slides down. I had it on massage for a while. I was like, oh. Did you ever look at the Zippo car, Kathy? Did you, or did you forget again? The Zippo mobile. I would love to have that car. Yeah, I know my doctor felt bad today. I could tell he was dreading that conversation. Although I don't think he expected me to say, set up an appointment with the head of pain management. He just kind of looked at me and went, what? I said, yeah. Him and I are going to have a chat. All right. Get out that thing called the pen and get some paper and write down Zippo mobile. That's your assignment for tonight. Is Jenny here? I didn't see her. Is Nomad here? I finally... He sent me a link for Discord. Now, I had set up a Discord account about a year ago and never used it. So I clicked the link and it showed up on this computer and then this computer over here. Now, I still don't know how to use that goddamn thing. All I know is I saw Nomad here and Nomad there. So I guess tomorrow I have to figure out how to use Discord. But it was on that computer, and the damn keyboard quit working, so I couldn't answer. And I was in the middle of something on this computer. Not to mention, I had something going on this computer, and I had the Discord open over here, trying to figure out how to use it. And at the same time, I was assembling a TV stand. I'm not a good multitasker. So I get the base of the TV stand all put together. And then there's, a post that mounts to the base, and then you mount the TV, on top of the post with the plate you bolt to the back of the TV. I put the base together and I had to take it all apart because the bar in the center where the post mounted was upside down. I was like, oh, for Christ's sake. I just made sure all the bolts were nice and tight. Now I got to take it all apart again. I put the base together. I got the... So I took the base in the bedroom, and I gently hung the TV on it. And I was like, oh, this is going to be pretty good. So I was trying to do that. And I can't remember what I was doing. Oh, I was in the middle of downloading a program on this computer, and then I had the Discord over there. So I wanted to tell Nomad that tomorrow I'll try to figure out how to use Discord. I get the idea it's like a chat room. Him and I could chat back and forth, like in private instead of using email. Technology. But I think it's working. It looked pretty good over on this computer. Tomorrow morning I have to find another keyboard. It quit. I'm in the middle of typing something and it just keyboard went dead. I was like, Jesus Christ, what else is going to happen? Put the base to the TV stand together ass backwards, keyboard burns out. I don't multitask well. Although this morning it was funny. I'm watching the Eagles out in California. And those little guys are getting pretty big. Well, Dad comes home with a fish. He puts the fish down in front of Mom. Evidently, Mom didn't like that breed of fish because she gave him all kinds of shit. Next thing you know, he was like, I'm out of here. See ya. I don't know what kind of fish it was, but she wasn't too happy to see that fish. I wish I knew what the hell they said. Yeah, he come in, set it down by her feet like, and she was just like, next thing he was like, see ya. I got somewhere, I'm going to the bar. I'm going to meet the guys. But it's amazing watching her feed the little ones. You know, they rip the shit out of that fish, and then very gingerly, she holds it in front of their beaks, and then rips the shit out of it. Here you go. Here you go. It's so... I love watching her feed them because she is just so delicate. Just kind of holds it in front of their little beak. Here you are. And they and she rips another hunk. And then very gingerly, here you go. I can watch it for hours. And I give up watching the ones in Florida. They're gone. Them boys took off. They left home. Never said thanks, Mom or Dad. Just see ya. And the thing was, the guy from Natural Resources or the park ranger or whatever they call him down there, he told everybody, he goes, they'll take off and they'll explore a little bit and then they're going to come back and they'll do this for about a week. They'll come back, get fed, not these two. Once they left that nest, gone. And although I'm kind of concerned about him, because he said they actually, he called it fledge. They fledged too early, which I think they probably really didn't know how to forage for themselves. He said they were a little too early. But they never came back, neither one of them. Oh, speaking of coming back, did you catch the news out in Vegas? They caught that asshole that set all them Teslas on fire. And the way they caught him was amazing. Because when he pulled in way at the edge of the parking lot. And then he come out in front of the service center and shot the cameras out before he set the cars on fire. And it was amazing. They didn't have shit to work with. They basically had a very grainy, extremely grainy, kind of an outline of the front end of his car. And they determined it to be a Kia something or another. And then they started checking every camera throughout the city, and he was not aware a citizen got a video of him. They pulled out their cell phone and they videoed him setting the cars on fire. And they finally contacted the police that I got a video, but he was all in black. Yeah, black hoodie on, black pants, black gloves, big black mask over his face. Some Asian guy. They charge him with so far he's got 20 fucking charges. I was watching the news conference just before airtime. And it's hilarious, They got all these people standing there. And the sheriff introduces them, This guy's from Homeland Security, and this guy's from the FBI, and this person, and this person. And then somebody asked a question, and the FBI agent was like, we can't comment. What the hell are you standing there for? And then the goddamn stupid reporters. At the end of the presentation, they take questions. And these reporters ask questions 5 paragraphs long, And the sheriff's like, I didn't get all that. I'd be like, oh, geez. If you're going to ask a question, Ask it like one or two sentences. Don't keep going on and on like, what did he have for dinner last night? And what's the inside of his apartment look like? And how many pair of shoes does he own? And then it was funny. The sheriff goes, the lady in the back. And you hear this guy starting to talk. And he goes, no, the other lady. But they ask some of the most asinine questions. Like, what color were his eyes? What do you care? They also, besides all the investigative work, he was dumb enough on one of his fire bombs that didn't go off. He must have made it without gloves. Now, if you're going to make a firebomb, a Molotov cocktail, and you're making it out of a beer bottle, wash the bottle, and then use gloves. Don't leave your DNA on the bottle, because they're going to identify you. But it was amazing. They didn't go into detail, but all the technology, how they were able to finally identify the car, and they had gotten the license plate from some other piece of technology, and nowadays, you can't do anything without being on camera. And they said, we have multiple cameras throughout the city. But they had to basically identify the car first. And the grainy photograph that they showed, it didn't even look like a car. It was like, huh? Don't screw with technology. What he did, after he shot the cameras out on the building, he shot the window out of what he firebombed 4 or 5 Teslas. He shot the window out to blow the glass out. Then he tossed the Molotov cocktail inside the car. Well, one of them didn't work. And that's where they got the DNA from. And then he spray painted the front of the building. Across the doorway, he put resist. He used pink spray paint. They found traces of pink spray paint on his tool belt and on his backpack. What was the idea behind, it was like that idiot that shot that head of the CEO of the medical system, wrote on the bullets. But yeah, he spray painted resist. What's that supposed to mean? Resist what? Teslas? Resist electrification? There is no way this world will ever go 100% electric. No way. I think they say right now only like 7% of the cars in the United States are electric. People want their gas engines. When I go down the street, I want you to hear me. Not. Here, let me rev my Tesla. Guy up the street from me's got one. It's hilarious. It'll be parked out in front of his house, and you see an extension cord. One day I stopped and I says to him, "How long is that extension cord?" He goes, "About 100 feet." I said, "Oh, I guess you don't go too far, do you?" He just kind of looked at me like, I wish he would have said, "Oh, it's about 3 miles long. That way I can drive and stay plugged into the house." Evidently, he doesn't have the supercharger. Yeah, big extension cord coming out his front door, plugged into his car. And then the sheriff of Las Vegas County said that Elon donated several Cybertrucks to the sheriff's department. No wonder they jumped on taking care of finding the guy that set the dealership on fire. If Elon's giving away $150,000 trucks, let's make him happy. Yeah, they're going to fight crime in a Cybertruck. I wonder how many he donated to how many different police departments. Yeah, as soon as the sheriff said that, I was like, oh, that's why you solved this in a week. He gave you some Cybertrucks. Although the sheriff said, they haven't been built yet. Oh, okay. Does that mean Elon can renege later on and go, oh, I changed my mind. I'm not going to give you them Cybertrucks. Well, now he has to. They caught the guy. Who the hell is Eugene Eugenius? Is that the name of the crook? I like using the term Richard Cranium. There's this one idiot that doesn't like the way I park when I go to the Indian store. Well, my e-brake don't work. And in the cold weather, I like to leave the engine run to warm the truck up. So I'll angle in. You know, they got them big concrete things in front of the store. Well, I angle in. He don't like the way I park. So he'll come in and he'll bitch. And I tell my buddy who owns the store, I said, you know his name? It's Richard Cranium. And of course, he looks at me and the asshole looks at me. Richard, that's not my name. I said, yes, it is. Richard Cranium. No, that's not my name. He don't get it. So I told him, you know what is short for Richard Cranium? He said, no, what? I said, Dick Head. He still didn't get it. The Indian guy did, though. He was like, oh! And the asshole standing there going, that's not my name either. It's not Richard Cranium, and it's not Dick Head. Not thinking dickhead. You know, what did this guy think he was going to prove? Burning some Teslas. The stupidest thing I ever heard. You're against maybe electrification, or you don't like Teslas, so you set some of them on fire? What did he prove? Nothing. Well, he proved he could get arrested. And I seriously think he thought he got away with it. He figured, well, I'll shoot the cameras out. I'm all in black. My car's parked at the other end of the lot. Perfect crime. 7 days later, knock, knock, knock. Come with us. Do it the British way. We'd like you to come down to the station for a chat. Yeah, I bet they... I wonder how many times he accidentally fell down while he was in handcuffs. Oops. Sorry. I watched one last night. Oh, God, I almost pissed myself, Kathy. It was down in southern Ohio. And it was during winter. And they were in the middle of this pasture or whatever. And they caught the kid. And they handcuffed him. Okay? And they're walking him back to the patrol car. And the kid tripped and face planted. Oh, I loved it. He's laying on the ground. Oh, my nose. Oh. Yeah, just went right down. Right. Of course, how are you going to break your fall? Your hands are behind your back. And the state trooper was laughing his ass off. Because they got up to the cars, and one of the other troopers said, "What's so funny?" He goes, "This guy ate it back there in the field." Oh, he went right down. Tripped over a rock or a log or something. It was funny. And then on top of it, they caught the wrong guy. They determined that this guy was innocent. I was like, oh man, lawsuit time. Yeah, his parents vouched for him and everything. They're like, he wasn't there, it wasn't him. Yeah, handcuff him and then he face plants. He must have hit something hard. Nose was all bleeding. I was like, oh, that one right there is a good one for America's Funniest Home Videos. Is that program still on? Or did they... Oh, that was what? Didn't Bob Saget host that? No more Bob Saget. And Ryan Seacrest, oh, what an asshole he is. He got that job with the biggest set of lips you ever saw, because he kissed everybody's ass to get that job. He's got about as much talent in his whole body as I got in one finger. Can't stand him. Boy, we're all over the place tonight again. Right? Yeah, I should have taken a picture of my doctor's face today when I said, set up an appointment with the head of pain management. He went, really? Yes, really. And then he goes, okay, I'll be there with you. Then he called me. He goes, we're set. Then he goes, you sure you want to do this? I said, well, if you don't want to be there, I'll give you a chance to back out. But I'll tell you what, he's had my back since 2018 when they started this shit. But now, it's hammer time. So before you start screwing with me, you and I are going to have a little chat, Doc. And I'm going to remind him, you're a doctor first. Because I guarantee he probably goes to work in a suit, not his white doctor coat. They seem to forget. I'm going to remind him several times. You're a doctor. Your Hippocratic oath. First, do no harm. I knew it was coming. It wasn't a surprise. But it just pisses me off that they can sit there and go, cut his medication by 50%. Oh, really? You think so? Ain't happening. I'm going to take that big stack that I've got from the clinic. That'll piss him off. He'll go, that's a different hospital. I don't care. Here. Look at it. I'll be sitting over there. When you're done reading this big file that's about this thick, then we'll talk. They don't know who they're messing with. No Jenny tonight. I wanted to tell her I'm about 99% sure I'm going to buy that album. But I forgot to look. I wanted to see if she had any more. Because I'm pretty sure that was like a 3-album set. I'm going to have to go in and look again. It's Elvis. Elvis' greatest hits. But I'm pretty sure it was 3 albums. I'm pretty sure I got 1. That's why I told her, I says, you got to give me about a week. I got to get to my 33s buried back in the corner of the living room. That's my next project. I got to get my stereo set up again. Dummy me. I decided to take everything apart and clean all the connections, and I didn't think to take a picture. And now I can't figure where all the wires go. Because you go from the amp to the equalizer, to the cassette player, to the CD player, to the tuner. I unplugged everything to clean everything. Can't figure out how to put it back together. And you can't. I went online. Now, they say, oh, Google, good for everything. Try Googling how to wire a 1970s component stereo system. You can't find any diagrams online. And dummy me, I didn't keep any of the manuals. And I can't remember what cable goes where. Everything's nice and clean. Every connection. Took a little toothbrush, contact cleaner, electrical, cleaned everything up. Now I can't remember how to put it back together. I should have taken I got more cameras than China's got rice. I should have click, 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 click. No. Just unplugged everything. Took all the components out of the cabinet. Cleaned all the connections. Put all the components back in the cabinet. I got a handful of spaghetti. And I can't remember how to wire it. And I can't play my stereo until I get it all wired up. Yeah, I went online today. You cannot find a diagram that shows you how to wire an old component system. Google. Good for everything except that. And dummy me, I don't know what I was thinking. I just unplugged everything. Cleaned everything up. Put it back in the cabinet. And then looked at the back of everything and went, oh, shit. Where do all these... The only one I figured out was the turntable. Because that plugs right into the back of the tuner. But then, you got in and out, and then the component at the bottom, in, out, in, out. So I got nice, clean connections and nice, clean cables. Don't do me no good. Can't remember how to put them back together. At this rate, I'll never be able to play my stereo. You'd think I'd learn by now. Not. Evidently, Nomad's been busy this week. Although it's nice that he's that busy. But no Nomad, no Kathy. No, I mean Jenny. Sorry. At least Wyatt popped in for a little bit. That was good. Yeah, old Lucy's channel is gone. Lucy made the mistake of screwing with Shiz. And she should know better. Because Shiz always has receipts. And she don't say a word about anything unless she's 100% correct. And Lucy thought she had some dirt on her. And she ended up deleting her channel. She started to spread some dirt and went, uh-oh. So she's gone. Then I heard it was a sock account on top of it. So who is the real person behind that account? But yeah, of all people, you know, she should have learned with Kaiser. You know, it was funny that night. Kaiser goes online and does his roll call and then tells all of his followers, I ain't getting arrested. No way. They ain't got nothing on me. Next day, handcuffs. So you would think, don't try to throw dirt on shiz. It's not wise. Because if anybody is 100% right, I mean, like right now, I don't know what her company is. She had mentioned what she spent on all that paperwork for Kaiser once. Jesus Christ. Hundreds and hundreds of dollars to get all that paperwork. And she got him. I don't have all the information. All I know is Lucy started spreading some dirt. And she was 100% wrong. And Shiz got wind of it. And there was some Discord battle. And next thing you know, Lucy deleted everything. So I'm trying to get what went on. But she started to spread what she thought was true, only to find out she was 100% wrong. And I don't know what threat Shiz made, but about an hour later, the channel was gone, deleted everything. So I'm trying to get the behind the scenes information. And speaking of behind the scenes, I think it's time to play some outro so I can go make dinner. I got another goddamn doctor's appointment, 2 o'clock tomorrow. Some fucking Doppler test. I supposedly have poor circulation in my legs. They don't seem to bother me any, but so whatever this Doppler test is, I asked my pain management doctor, he goes, I don't know. Thanks, doc. All I know is it's a vascular Doppler test. I guess maybe they're going to strap some electronic earphone on me and listen to the heartbeat in my legs. I don't know. That's what I think. First thing I'm going to ask the doctor, does this require a needle? If he said yes, I'm going to be, see ya. You'll see me running out. I'll say, watch how good my legs work. while I run down the hall. More goddamn tests. Bullshit. Wow. I opened the tablet up and it went right to the A to Z music list without playing the intro. Holy shit. Well, outro time. We know where. It's right here. WDWL TV. 7 p.m. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening, Ketty, since you're the only one here. I appreciate you being here. And we will see you again tomorrow. Same location. And with that,